homogeneity is, if you add or you subtract two quantities, they have to have the same dimension. It is meaningless for them not to have the same dimension. Now, I want to distinguish two things here. And I want you to be very clear about this in your head. If you have two items of different units, it's meaningful, but you have to convert them to be numerically sensible, numerically correct. So if I have 1 second plus 1 minute, could you add them together? If I have a 1 in my model representing a second and a 1 representing a minute, can I just add those and get a 2? No. What do I have to do? Yeah, so I convert. I multiply the 1 minute times seconds per minute, right? Times in seconds per minute. So let's be clear about what's going on there. We have a 1 second, and we'd like to add it to 1 minute. So to do that, we have to add 1 second plus 1, this is 1 minute, times seconds per minute, right? And times a value for seconds per minute, which is 60, right? And then these 2 minutes will cancel. The minute, 1 minute times second per minute, the 1 in the numerator and denominator will cancel. So this is going to be 1 second plus 1 second times 60, which is going to be 61 seconds, right? So essentially we have converted the units there properly. We can't just add them. It'll be meaningless to add. We get it numerically incorrect if we added them. But what's worse than that is if you had dollars plus persons. Or I mean, that sounds implausible, but believe me, all the time in student models I see, well, or sometimes in my own model, I'll see person plus person per time. If I add a prevalence value, a count of persons with diabetes now, plus an incidence value, people who got diabetes in the last month, and I just add them up, I'm getting a quantity which is not meaningful. What I'd have to do is, if I wanted to make that meaningful, people with diabetes plus people per month getting diabetes times how many months? 1 month, say. And then I can add them together, because now we've got person plus person. Okay, so adding things of different dimension is semantically incoherent. Dollar plus person, meter plus second. This is fatally flawed. How do you add a meter to a second? How do you add a second to a person? Just doesn't make sense. The thing that should scare you folks is if you put this into Vensim and you don't ask it to check, or if you put it into AnyLogic and you don't ask it to check, it will happily do that. 1 plus 1 equals 2. The 2 is meaningless. It's junk. It's garbage. It means nothing. Full of sound and fury, signifying nothing, as Shakespeare said it. Although he didn't have this in mind. But you can use it to your advantage by getting it to check for you. Adding items to different units but same dimension is semantically sensible but numerically incorrect. You've got to put in that conversion factor. And the key thing here is you want to add things that are comparable dimensions and comparable units within that dimension. And I could go into some stuff that's a little bit more advanced there. Turns out that there's some theory that comes from this in terms of the meaning of a to the b. And basically, if you have a to the b power, b has to be dimensionless for this to be meaningful. If you think it through.
So I can't, it's hard to overexpress.